Hello, and thanks for joining me for this particular video where we're discussing Saturn transiting the sign of Aries for all signs. This is just to get a better look of where there are blocks and personal growth needed in order to develop yourself through whatever house that this Saturn transit could be playing out for you. And so I wanted to do that. And I'm also going to have this video time stamped. I just want to actually go over the meaning and significances of this particular transit. Also, if you have not checked out the monthly videos that I put out on my channel, go check that out. And if you have not looked at my videos that I do on synastry, placements between you and others, or what it means for you, and also personal planet placement, or like sign planet sign placements pertaining to your birth chart, how that might play out, go take a look at those. Also, so I'm gonna get started. I wanted to go over a few things so that before I get started in this particular video with how this affects each sign individually, personally, and I want to do that. But since Saturn is transiting the sign of Aries for the next 2.5 years, so it actually started transiting Aries at the end of March, and it does not stop transiting Aries until April 2028. So what do I have to say? What do I have to say about that? So the first thing that you should know of utmost importance when dealing with Saturn transits is that you have the time. You have time. So don't think about it in the sense of, okay, so this Saturn transit is going on, it's getting me to become aware of these things. How do I just get aware? How do I become aware of them and then solve these issues and just get it over with? We're not going to think in terms of that. The best way to handle a Saturn transit is to say, okay, so this is the area that I've been affected with Saturn. What do I do? What do I need to do? What do I need to work on? What is it getting me to see? And then sitting back, laying back, kicking your feet up and making sure that you are vigilant on doing these things. The sit back and kick your feet up, guys, that's more about saying, hey, it's not about rushing the process. So don't get it twisted. Okay. So just keep that in mind. I want you to keep that in mind. And I learned this through my Saturn transit when Saturn transited my sign and my rising sign. Okay, so you can look at this for your sun and rising sign. It could affect your moon sign too, but you know how that goes. And although Saturn is playing out in each individual house, because of course each sign has a particular house that Aries sits in, right? In order to make up that sign, make up the whole personality of the sign, and we all have houses or a house, because some houses we have an energy playing out between two different houses. Okay. But this is, some houses we don't really want to focus on, or it's not as hard, as certain ones. And the main ones that I see that a lot of people have trouble with is like the first house and, well, the sign that Saturn's transiting, first house or ascendant. Seventh house could be a big issue as well. Okay. And of course the money houses, but when the 10th house is a money house, but Saturn loves transiting the 10th house. So that's pretty good. And Saturn loves transiting 11th house. because Saturn also makes up the 11th house of Aquarius. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then I wanted to hop right into it because I wanted to give you guys a backdrop for the people who wants to listen to this. So let's talk about the fact that Neptune is also in the sign of Aries, right? So here we're having a Neptune Saturn conjunct in one sign. Well, transiting one sign. Now, conjunctions is usually based off of degrees. All right. And so it's going to really conjunct in a significant, powerful way in the year of 2026. Because remember, it's going to stay here until the year of 2028. All right. So let's just look at this for a second, because where we have Saturn is a planet that can provide wealth, long-term commitment, long-term healing, lineage. When we're talking about, even though the 8th house is more of inheritances, Saturn is the solidifier of these things. Okay. So we're talking long-term effects that with Saturn transiting Aries could be things that's put into motion can sustain you for the next, 20 to 30 years. Okay. So understand that. But Saturn, you have to take that energy serious. That's just how Saturn is. And it's not that you can't have a little bit of fun. It's not that you cannot live life, but you have to approach Saturn energy in a way to where it demonstrates. You're demonstrating to yourself. You're demonstrating to that energy. You're demonstrating to the universe that you're taking life serious, because in these areas with these matters, because even though life is about fun, life is about creativity, life is about pleasure, cannot just be about those things. Okay. And this is something that I personally learned, and I feel that it'll benefit others to learn this as well. Let me give an example. So I had, I'm having discussions with people all the time that, I try to use to, interject wisdom or project wisdom into their lives. I was having a conversation with a couple people, and, they were pretty much saying how, I kind of want to live life without that. I just want to live life. I don't really want to have rules and ways that I'm supposed to live and I don't supposed to live. I just want to live life. Therefore, I'll do things knowing the consequences, and then I'll just prepare myself for those consequences. Great. That's great. But it doesn't always work like that. But my response to this conversation, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Live life. But there has to be guidelines. There has to be guidelines. You cannot just say, oh, I'm just here, I'm just living life because I want to live life. There has to be guidelines to the way that you're living life. It has to be. Regardless of whether you pay the consequences for them or not. People always say they'll pay the consequences in the moment to do what they want. But long term, with the results that you get, you can't be mad at nobody but yourself. So remember that. That's the first thing I want to say. Remember that. Because Aries is dealing with the self, is about the self. Self-identity, self-motivations. And Saturn transiting Aries is specifically that. And it's funny because the conversation that we were having took place after Saturn had moved into Aries. I'm telling you, if this is not a huge giant program, I don't know what to tell you. It's a program, all of it. So Saturn is definitely restrictive as well, because it's like all those things that we want to do that makes us comfortable. Saturn is like, no, you can't just do those things anymore and expect the results that you think that you're going to get. Now, these restrictions is getting us to go to the next level. It's about growth, right? That's what these restrictions are. It's about understanding work ethic. It's about the way that we want to, like, establishing a we're working on our personality with Saturn transiting Aries, but in our persona, establishing a persona. However, what I'm saying is this: ultimately, this is about us establishing, moving to that next level of growth, but establishing who we are in terms of how we fit inside of our lifestyle, our environment, etc., etc. Remember that. Okay. So it could seem like a bunch of restrictions. It could seem like a bunch of limitations. It could seem like there's hard work that needs to be put in, right? This is what we're getting when we're dealing with Saturn. Let's go to Neptune, because Neptune is quite different from Saturn. Saturn dealing with reality, right? Saturn's saying, I'm not saying that you cannot have and exist outside of what you call reality, because each person calls reality different things, but in reality for them are different things. So I'm not saying that your reality is fake or false. What I am saying is that whatever that reality is to you, you have to live in it and you have to deal with it. That's what I'm saying. You can't escape it. Now you can grow and you can, transition, but that's what you choose. It's up to you what you choose to do. Neptune, completely different. For all you guys, Neptune is, I know people really stick in gung-ho on Neptune being the planet of illusions, representing illusions. And those people are that's Neptune oriented, are just completely delusional. I beg to differ. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's elements of that there. But Neptune is definitely about escapism versus Saturn. Neptune is definitely about, okay, so what you cannot deal with, avoid. Just avoid it. Ish gets sticky, avoid it. You do something that you know that you did, just act like you didn't. Nobody points it out. Nobody tells you the reality of things. Nobody, you just, forgiveness. They should just forgive you. They should just move on, because you're just going to forgive them. You're just going to move on. It's sacrificial energy. This is where things exist in the spiritual realm before it hits this is the physical. Now, this is, I kind of look at things a little bit differently as far as how we receive or how we interpret information. I kind of feel like Neptune is not necessarily the start. It's not the planet or the energy that suggests that, oh yeah, we're spiritual beings and we're soul beings, and that, we know this, and therefore we're just trying to live out a physical experience. I feel like it's a consciousness thing. And then people, according to personal experiences that they have, the information, how they expand in their consciousness, definitely through some sort of awareness, whether it's learning off of someone else, finding things online, having these experiences. And then I feel like it makes them aware in a sense of, okay, wow, this is a thing. I'm a soul being and I know this. I'm conscious of it. Neptune is where you could be unconscious of it. You're unconscious of your movements. You're unconscious of what's going on around you spiritually. You're unconscious of a lot of things, but I'm not saying that you cannot have spiritual experiences, because we all know that is definitely Neptune energy. But Neptune tends to be, there could be this division of spiritual, physical. So why do I know this? Why am I saying this? Because there are people who take hallucinants by way of drugs, etc., to take them up into this spiritual realm, feeling like it's a division from themselves, So, hey, I don't want to get too caught up into that, but so I'm explaining a little bit of these dynamics and how these is playing out. Now, when you group these two together, you want to know what it looks like. it can be a very fascinating, thrilling, isolated at times, groundbreaking, new things can start, but in a structured way. Things that have to be implemented need to be implemented individually and collectively. That could change our society and change who we are forever, to take us to the next level of our existence, I would say. So you could have things like the coming together of dreams, because Neptune represents our dreams, right? Our nightmares, our dreams, our sensitivities, our intuition. You see, so it's more about sensing things, inclinations, being aware of that. And then Saturn representing reality, of course, coming together, meaning manifestation, big on manifesting during this transit, because you're literally taking things that you may create, or you may start, or you may build. What you have it's a thought, it's an idea. It doesn't exist, and then you create it, you build upon it until you have a structure. So meaning that without that structure, it may not last. Okay, so that's where the Saturn is playing out, right? But sometimes in our existence, we have things that limit us. Maybe it's our beliefs, maybe it's our surroundings, whatever it is, our perspective or whatever. Because Saturn's creating that, as well. And Neptune is trying to let us float on past it. So you'll see a lot of people coming out and showing and demonstrating to others like what they were able to do when they like opened their mind, when they made it past their limitations. Or you'll see people wanting to do this, and they'll be able to do this through Saturn energy, the energy that Saturn is projecting into this transit as well. Okay. And then when we go into the terms and into the realm of our intuition, if you think about Neptune, you're thinking about things that you are not consciously dealing with. It's the subconscious mind. It's the subconscious, the thing in the back where your hair stand up in the back of your neck because you sense something in your environment that you feel like should not be there. Those things, right? So, that could, that's the inklings that you get. But then you say you don't follow them or you don't listen to them. And then later on, you're like, oh my God, like I should have followed my intuition. I should have followed those inklings. So this is learning to trust your intuition, by, just merely by understanding that it exists. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't consciously guide themselves. It becomes a subconscious thing, and they act out behaviors that they're like, oh my God, I didn't mean to do it because I was not aware of A, B, C, or D, And a lot of people having these massive spiritual awakenings by way of signs and visions and dreams that directly conflict with the reality that they thought and they believe that that exists. Okay, so here we go, because it's time for us to evolve. It's time for us to change. And with these experiences, only thing that's happening is change is being implemented, and it starts now, but it's going to play out for years. Okay, so I wanted to start there. Thank you so much for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel and just make sure that you are around, because I will be back. Also, every sign is time stamped. I'm starting with the sign of Pisces this time. So find your sign, or you can listen to all of the signs, because I'm pretty sure you know somebody that belongs to each of these signs, possibilities. And depending on, the reason why I do not really get people caught up in looking at all these different placements. Oh, look at, you cannot make everything true. You cannot focus on everything and make everything true, you know, in advance the way that you should. It brings confusion. You know, I get it for people that's trying to get views on their channel. Of course, they'll tell you that. So I would say stick to sun and rising. You can watch for moon because your moon sign gets affected by these transits as well. It's more on a personal level, sometimes more unconscious than we think, or subconscious, but it is there. But I definitely would watch for the sun and rising signs. Okay. All right. And where you have Aries placed in your chart. On the houses, in the houses, or even on the signs, the planets. If you want to get, for instance, if you have Saturn transiting your Venus, because you have, let's say it's you have Saturn in Aries and Venus in Aries. Okay, here, yes, you can start to focus seriously on like your value, money, finances. Okay, relationships, and wanting to take them more seriously, or coming across individuals that want to take them more seriously. And when you don't, you find rejection or you find conflict. Like you have to take these matters particularly serious, and you're going to be, you know, or without that, Saturn's like, okay, well, it can't stick. So people with this transit could possibly feel like, oh my gosh, like they want to, with Neptune there, they want to transform their value some type of way. Because maybe they were supposed to do this all along. Maybe it was there all along, but they didn't know it, or other people didn't know it for whatever reason. So you might have to change your actions and the way that you show up or present yourself to change that. If Venus is in Libra, then we have Saturn opposing Libra. So we have Saturn opposing, if let's say Libra, Libra's relationships. And their relationships can directly affect their image. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to say that. But then, you know, to explain to you guys like how you can use or how to look up and understand these transits when it comes to your personal chart and blase blase. But without further ado, this is time stamped for each sign. And thank you once again. So, you know what, guys, I decided to start with the sign of Pisces for this one. Sign of Pisces for this. Okay, so let's start, because I don't want to make things too long. But Saturn is transiting Aries, and this is and Neptune. This is directly affecting your second house, Pisces. Directly affecting your second house, and you can see things in your focus, like serious focus, going to values, what you find valuable in life, your self-worth. So what does this mean? It can have you really focus in on and take a look, like stop to take a look at how you're being valued in your relationships with others. Okay, because at once upon a time, it could have been typical for you to just give and be okay with that. Okay, and completely sacrificial and completely open. But now Saturn is saying you can't do that and work towards and have valuable things in life. You know why? Because people are going to come around. They're going to not treat your property and not treat your belongings and your materials and they're not going to treat those things that you've invested in, that you've acquired, seriously. They're not going to treat them with care. Okay. So let's go hear what they're saying, because this is definitely a saying that, started representing us coming out of the age of Pisces. Because, you know, Pisces, well, what would Jesus do? Okay, well, give. So when people ran out of food, Jesus made fish, right? He multiplied that and he provided them with that. Those people didn't have to do a thing. That was actually representation of the Pisces sign. You know that, right? But the saying, if you teach, if you give people fish, how do they say that? Y'all don't hold this against me, but it's a saying. You give people fish, or give it to them, supply it for them, it'll feed them for temporarily. But if you teach them how to fish, it'll feed them for life. It's different. They're going to take advantage of it. They're going to assume, hey, you didn't put any, who cares what work, what time and effort you put into making what you make? Who cares? It doesn't matter. I just know that you're my go-to person. I just know that you're the sacrificial lamb. You're starting to realize this during this transit. Your self-worth, you can make astounding changes on your self-worth, meaning your financial security, financial gains, property, investments. So you can have an overall sense of stability. Whether people come, people go. Whether people come, people go. So you can see blocks around this. This is, your intuition all along is telling you, hey, Pisces, you might need to make these changes with these people in your relationship with money, or how you're seeing yourself, if you want to actually be put in a position of stability to where you can provide for yourself on a profound level, and others that you need to in the right way. And it doesn't matter whether they come in, whether they leave, whether you need to get rid of them, because even possession wise, like if some of you guys, let's say you're a Pisces and you're like, okay, well, I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to travel the world, or, I'm trying to do this content and become a travel vlogger or something. But you're just like, oh my God, but I got to hold on to this stuff. I got to hold on to the house. Why? So that my friends can come by and have a place to crash when they need to. You may see how you're limiting yourself through other people. They will be fine. They will be okay, Pisces, is what I'm trying to say. So this is the limitations you're going to realize, that a lot of them you placed on yourself in the guise of helping, sacrificing. Saturn will make you feel just tired in this area, which draws a line for you. When it comes to having what you value in something meaningful. And Saturn is definitely going to put you in a position, Pisces, to where it's like, okay, so what? Do you struggle personally to sacrifice yourself for others or materials or whatever you're doing? Or do you rise, gain, excel, grow in order to have the valuable life that you want? And be seen as that. Because a lot of you, if you haven't seen yet, some of these people, if not majority, they do not value you or prioritize you. Remember, you guys found this out during the Saturn transit, that Saturn just transited your sign. So this is not something new. You know what it is. Now you have to really implement what you learned, what you became aware of. Okay. So what does that look like? I don't want to leave you without. What do you need to do specifically? Things that you see, what you're having materialize or have show up physically in your presence that you cannot ignore. You got to take that as the sign. And then all you got to do is make the decision to say, okay, this is not something I want to deal with. Those people will be fine. It's always like that. Okay. I don't know. Some of you guys might be getting called selfish at this moment. But okay, so Pisces, thank you. This is the Saturn in Aries. Saturn, Neptune, transit Aries. I'll be back. Aquarius. So you guys, you're having Saturn transit your third house, right? Saturn and Neptune transit your third house. And this is the thing, because with Neptune there, you have so many ideas. Like, it's flowing. It's flowing. You have so many ideas. You know, you could be daydreaming a lot. People could be talking to you, but you could be even sensitive to certain things that people are saying, or like people are talking to you. It could seem almost like you're not really there. Like you're there, but you're not really there because you're tuned out. Now, typically you could be this way. But without the sensitivities too, very, very, very detached. And that works for you. Let's be clear. I know this works for you. It always has. That's great. That's grandiose. Congratulations. However, Saturn is here as well. Saturn is here slapping that reality back in your face saying, hey. We know you want to daydream. We know that you have, a lot going on. Y'all, this could be a lot going on health wise as well. Remember, health, 12th house, definitely relating to health issues that we may not be aware of. That could be affecting our body, that we go to a hospital, we go to a doctor, we go to a therapist, and then we find out what's going on and we get the treatment, the proper treatment that is there as well. And it could be something as simple as weight. Like when we start thinking about cholesterol, right? When we start thinking about factors of stress, like when we start thinking about BMI that people don't like to believe in, when we start thinking about this, there's these root causes. It's like, well, until we find out exactly what it is, it's like, oh my gosh, I know I'm feeling sluggish. I know. Do you know how detrimental stress can be to the body? Not just the body, the mind as well. It can be worse than any physical ailment. It can, as a matter of fact, create and activate and trigger physical ailments within the body. It is that serious. It ages us. Let me tell you a secret of mine that I tell people all the time. Like, how do I maintain a youthful appearance, a youthful energy? I refuse to stress. There are moments in my life where, yes, I get in these situations where I'm like, oh my gosh, I've started controlling it better than I used to, But I'm talking to you from a Gemini to an Aquarius, because we can be emotionally detached from a lot of things that cause regular people stress. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we still experience it, but we detach ourselves from it. What people don't understand a lot of times, because we are mental, and once things start going over and over and over and over again in our minds, it takes over our bodies. It takes over our ability to just navigate daily life. This is what I'm talking about. And I attempt to say, okay, well, I can't stress about this. I cannot stress about this. So I'm gonna let it go and find a way. This is Neptune, but Saturn bringing that stress, that mental stress. And you have to find a way. I'm not saying just ghost people. Neptune could be that. You have to find a way to delegate certain matters so that it's not all on your back. It's not all on your shoulders. Like, if you got to postpone something, let's say you're planning a wedding, But you're like, oh my gosh, the wedding needs to come up. You got your partner hounding you, whatever the case may be, with all these fabulous things that they want to have. And baby, you want to have it too. You want to give it to them. But it's like, okay, with money and cost and prices and then the deadline, it's not, you like, oh my gosh, like, that's not going to happen. And you have to ask yourself the question. You put yourself in a position to ask yourself the question of, okay, so what do I want? Because this is what Saturn is about. Don't let your mind play tricks on you. So do you say, oh, hey, let's have it anyways? It's up to you. But then regret not being able to properly prepare for it. Then regretting, like, man, why didn't I just wait? Because there might be some things you find out down the line, shortly down the line, that you're like, oh my gosh, like I rushed and this is the results that I get because I just didn't wait. So what about, is that, or you're saying, hey, let me change the date of it. It gives me longer time to plan, or gives us longer time to plan. We know that we're going to be together. And in the process, it'll play out. I'm not as stressed. This is what I'm saying about delegating, not taking everything on. Okay. Now, in areas that you could be blocked in or restricted, or you have to develop, some of you guys might have to develop stronger communication skills and self-expression. Now you could say, okay, so what? Stronger communication skills as an Aquarius, like I communicate very well. I'm known for communication. Yes. But it's really the type of things you communicate. It's really the mechanical way that you could sometimes communicate, to where you're completely void of maybe how you feel. Yes, guys. So I was definitely interrupted. So I'm back now. So yeah, the whole thing with communication is this, and self-expression. You, to sum it all of it up, you usually put yourself on the back burner, or on the background. And I feel like you rely on other people in a sense of, okay, so let's see what their ideas are. Let's see. And then you build from there. And you formulate things around these other ideas and motivations, and which is fine. I kind of feel like you steer clear from that a lot of times, like self motivations, because you're more focused on the group and group effort, and that's great. But when you, certain results that you get, it makes you feel like, okay, well, this is not the direction that I was trying to go. Certain results is like, well, this is not the direction that I was trying to go in. You know what I mean? This is not what I intended to happen. So there is a need, okay? Because Saturn is definitely presenting this focus here for you and showing you that there is a need. There is a need for these, well, who are you? Who are you, Aquarius, in this whole ordeal, in what it is that you're presenting? And you know what? I think other people probably see you as this, but it is more about you stepping up to these roles. Yes. Stepping up to these roles, baby. And I feel like there's some changes that need to be made. I like, honestly, a lot of times I feel that society and Aquarius's immediate surroundings taught you guys how to withhold certain information, withhold a lot of your ideas and the way that you see things, your point of views, your immediate environment, because a lot of times people in your immediate environment, your family, you know, your normal culture, which is why a lot of times Aquarius tries to escape outside of their normal culture, like not escape, but yeah. You know, it's you're tired of hearing things like, oh, okay, that's weird, or okay, that's not going to happen, or just the rejection surrounding a lot of this. But listen, it doesn't have to be like that. This is your time. And I stress this so much. Every little bit counts. If it's not for you, it's for the next generation. Something that you're teaching them. Something you're instilling in them. Or the information you pass on to somebody else and they're able to learn from it and instill it inside of their children or the kids that they work with. But understand that maybe the limitations are the environment that you're in or what you're trying to placate to not cause a scene, not cause a ruckus. But there are valuable things that you have and stored in your mind and the knowledge that you have that others around you, believe it or not, are ready for. But if you create it, they will come. So there's blockages around short distance travel and things in your immediate environment. So there could be like roadblocks. There could be scheduling issues. And this could be due to yourself, but others. So if you're trying to get places on time, make sure you leave earlier. No multiple routes and routing to locations. It could be very frustrating. Once again, adding to the conflict of the mind and adding on to stress. Okay. Delegate. You don't understand how many people are willing to help you. Now, with this being said, you could have this added responsibility due to maybe circumstances around you. Because you could be like, okay, well, what? Like I am trying to do, but the communication from other people is what's impeding on me, is what's the hindrance. So yes, you definitely can have situations around you to where people, they're not picking up the slack. Like they're not handling their responsibility. There's things preventing them, or I get all of this. And this is why your changes may have to be made to like things that you're doing routinely around you. And there may have to be a more effective system in place as well. And you have to communicate this. So lots of stress. Like this is not a predominant transit for you, I will say. Like it might be for Aries or Libra. But, depending on your partner, some of you guys might be partnering with a Libra. You could just be like, okay, listen, you are being completely delusional. Or any spouse, but I'm just saying the other signs that's being transit. It could be an Aries, but you could be like, okay, you're being completely delusional. I mean, instead of saying them that they're being delusional, you can just explain to them or show them another way. Like, let's go back to the wedding situation, and that person is demanding these things and they want this grandiose and you're just like, okay, so we might have to wait. And then they're still against that waiting. We don't need to wait. We need to just go ahead. And you're just like, okay, so you present the choices to them. Okay, so it's up to you. We can wait it out and prepare for it better and have what you want, or we can rush through this and it not be what you want. Like something has to be sacrificed here. Give them these communicate this to them, these ultimatums, these choices, what they have to sacrifice, because that is there. I definitely feel like for a lot of you guys, the issue is other people. Ooh. So this is also you possibly being put in positions to where, you possibly do challenge the belief systems, challenge the mindsets of people in your local immediate environment, the customs. And we see changes to that. But for you, it could be good or bad, because you could be coming, you could be presenting something different. And every time we present something different, there are those individuals that want to come up against that. What can I say for you, Aquarius, during this transit? I say that you show up how you show up. Grow, learn, of course, because it's always time to be better. But understand that, like I said, if you build it, they will come. Understand that, yes, there will be those detractors, but a lot of people, they don't come from the mindset like Aquarius. They do not think like you. They're not futuristic in thinking. So a lot of don't let that detour you from the type of work that you have to do. Understand that a lot of it will play out over time. We seen the greats. We seen Martin Luther King Jr. didn't make it to the promised land, but he knew that the promised land existed. Okay, can I get an amen? So let's just keep all this in mind. Okay, so this is a fabulous time for you to really just extend on your thinking, who you are, showing up that way, building, growing on who you are, looking up different ways and learning about different ways of healing the body, relieving stress. This is the time that you start doing this, because if not, you will find these things building up for you in a negative way. Okay. And we're not going to have none of that. All right. So Aquarius, thank you for watching, and please return, because I will be back. Okay, so I'm back with the sign of Capricorn, where you have the planets Saturn and Neptune transiting your fourth house. Guys, the fourth house brings all those things near and dear to us. It's personal, okay? About family, personal feelings, personal relationships. And our focus, Saturn is bringing our focus towards this, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that if this is not you, you could definitely be in situations or have situations arise around you that where your family, like there's people, your family members, people in your family, etc., that could be going through personal problems, marital problems, family problems, security problems. Just understand that if this is not you, but these issues can definitely come up to the forefront for you. I honestly do believe for a large amount of you guys, and depending on your age, because like the older Capricorns, yours could be more about, okay, now it's time that you want more, like you're transitioning, you're coming to terms with, you want to gain, or you will be gaining more finances, and you're looking towards more stability in the terms of actually putting yourself, or you put yourself in a position to receive these advancements. Okay, maybe if you're on the younger side, you might be like, okay, so how could I'm interested in starting a family. And you know what, I'm not even going to be limited when it comes to age, because just because you're younger or older, it doesn't mean that you have a family established or you don't. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to break free from those narratives, but you could just be a Capricorn in general that's like, okay, I'm ready to start a family. What does that, or about your own personal security and what it means for you. And actually this is not the time to go run out and look for these things. This is the time to get yourself positioned to receive these things. And Saturn, your planetary ruler, does an excellent job at already having you focus on these things. Okay. So, that's not a bad thing. Like, you're taking your personal relationships and your security. Like, some of you guys could have feel insecure about like the positioning or like everything it would take in order for you to have this come about. And it could be particularly busy for you, or like even your family members, because when we talk about the fourth house, although we talk about our own personal sensitivities and our own personal wants and needs, we talk about that of other people. So yes, your family could have, family life could be demanding, but it doesn't have to be. It just depends on what Capricorn you are. and heavy looking into dynamics. And I've mentioned this through some of the monthly transits, especially the one that I did in June. Cancer season. Also going into Cancer season, but this video can be watched at any time during the Saturn Neptune transit. So I don't want to get too focused on like monthly transits with this, but a lot of uncovering of your root, heritage, lineage. Being mindful of repeated patterns. Who are you really? Your foundational. What foundationally make you who you are? Is that something that's soundproof? Are there any changes that needs to be made? And this is also saying that your relationships, close relationships, people that make it in this area, in this arena, has to be emotionally available. You might, with blockages there, you might come across people that aren't, or people that's requiring this from you. But in order to establish these significant relationships, they become personal at some point. And having that emotional foundation solidifies and actually grows relationships and families. What does that mean? Okay, well, Capricorn, you gotta get real about your feelings and what it is that you want. You can't say that you want something and then deny yourself of that. Now, there could be restrictions. Some of you guys could be putting up blocks and restrictions to family that you feel like is getting in the way of your personal progress for whatever reason. Because you could be like, okay, you've been doing it all along. So that could definitely be coming up. Like distance from family. I kind of feel like it's more of a controlled distance, though. It's not unconscious. And you want to have this sense of belonging. So be careful, though, that you don't cut yourself off completely from people and out of their lives because you're feeling insecure. Because you could be highly sensitive right now. But don't underestimate the fact that you are aware, like you are distinctively aware of when you're being mistreated or when you are not getting back from others what you're pouring in and what you're willing to pour in. Don't disregard that, because that Saturn could be the boundary that needs to be put in place. Okay. For emotional connections, emotional relationships, family, even kids. Guys, I say this all the time because I'm a firm believer that we can't allow like our children to take advantage of us or mistreat us. There's a very big focus on your social values, and I feel like it's good to establish this, like how you see yourself in the world, how you see yourself interacting with others, what's important to you, moralistically and all of that, because this is helping you set the baby off top. You don't have to go through anything drawn out. You can see off top, okay, this is not gonna work. Me and these people, we are not on the same page with what we want out of life and where we're at. And you don't have to judge the people and, talk down on them and completely just throw them to the wolves. But you can say, I'm not going to interact with these people, but on a certain level, not at all, or on a certain level. Okay. So yeah, very, very, very big around family and security, and you establishing emotional boundaries and emotional stability is the first, I'm telling you, it is the first place you go and you start in order to create that dynamic throughout your life, throughout your personal life, finding and having security in your personal relationships and money wise. Some of you guys this is a very good time to work on, trying to buy a home, things pertaining to, I want to say real estate, but I don't really want to get too caught up into that, because like that could be a second house as well. But home, family, some of you guys may, at this transit or during this transit or through this transit, you could have a family. You might get a family, start one. Okay, so, and significantly develop your personal relationships with family through way of the boundaries and the growth as well. Right? Okay, so thank you, Capricorn, and please subscribe to the channel, because I will be back for more videos. Okay, so hello, Sagittarius. For you, this transit in Saturn with Aries, in transiting Aries, Saturn, and the planet Neptune, should I say, is taking place in your 5th house. Okay. Now, 5th house, let's talk about some of the things that 5th house represents, like pleasure, fun, children, dating, hobbies, talents, uniqueness, sometimes taking risk. Did I say creativity, romance, and love is here? Loving what you do, loving who you are at the core is here. Okay. Challenges around that. And I'm going to tell you why the challenges may come up for you around that. If you are in a position, and just hear me out, to where you are in the 5th house is definitely like that young, rebellious energy as well, So it could be, if you are a Sagittarius, like you've been asked to go to the next level in life, because like Saturn's demanding it, others around you are demanding it, however you want to put it. But this could be yourself, this could be somebody else you're dealing with, or others you're dealing with. Let's just put that out there. But you're finding it like you're holding on to, or you're remembering your youth for some reason. Saturn is kind of asking you to make that transition, though. Saturn, Neptune is asking you to make that transition for yourself. And it may require changes. It may require changes in your production, delivery, persona, uniqueness, Because some of you guys are also holding yourself back because you're locking yourself into some sort of dialogue. Okay, so let's say this. Let's say, and guys, somebody I could mention that I feel is doing this, Shawnee O'Neal. If you guys ever looked at Basketball Wives, she's one of the executive producers, and she married the pastor, Leon. I don't know his last name. I cannot remember it. Henderson or something like that. She's a Sagittarius, though. Yes, Sagittarius rules philosophical beliefs and religion. So I'm not, and then, that institute of that, belonging to something and leading it, though, but leading it, but belonging at the same time. You see, it's kind of like different from Gemini energy. They don't got to lead it. They don't got to belong. They could just be them, right? Sagittarius is kind of like you guys say, you like your responsibility is in the sense of, yes, this is the philosophy, this is the belief, whether you created it or not. This is how you maintain it, and this is how you show up. So definitely you guys could be seen as like a symbolic meaning or reference or guide to others. But it becomes dogmatic when you realize or you understand that those belief systems doesn't really ring 100% true to you anymore, but you're doing it anyways, like going through the motions, right? Now, this could be something good for keeping a Sagittarius like reined in, having some sort of discipline. I get it. That could be good. That could be good for those Sagittarius in those positions. Don't get me wrong, or in that position. However, like I said, whenever you have came across situations or experiences that show you, okay, well, honestly, I'm not limited. I understand these beliefs in these philosophy, but I'm not limited, or I'm not stuck there. Like, I still want to live. I still want to have fun. That's where the problem comes in. That's where the problem comes in. And even with Saturn, is like, it's challenging you, where are you withholding yourself because, you're being blocked and you're being reined in, which are the reining in of your self-expression. Like, the universe needs Sagittarius to be creative. Like, you can be creative upon, like, beyond the point of basic comprehension for people, that others kind of live vicariously through you. So, and I kind of feel like, even bringing up Shawnee O'Neal, I see where Shawnee struggles a lot with, certain things. And I get it, because like, once you get a certain age, you want to say, or once you cross over, you become part of a marriage or something else that you feel like is higher than yourself. You want to, show up the way that you need. Like, you want to help that relationship or that whatever the entity thrive. However, Shawnee wants to, have drinks with the girls and have fun and enjoy life, not really having to be reined in and monitored. Like, oh, well, what did you say? Like, what? Maturity is one thing, but trust me, I don't think you should. That's not a good look for you, because you're in the public's eye. Now, my church has to be, the people of my church and establishment has to see you like the light of God. That could be a lot for a person, right? So okay, let's use another example. Nicki Minaj, another Sagittarius. Nicki Minaj, as great as she is, and beautiful, stunning. Okay. Beautiful, stunning. I think she's at a confliction with, okay, so what, even though still talented, like, with her being a mother, her being a wife now, there's so much stuff that she's mastered, that she's completed, that she's earned, that's been celebrated of her, that cannot be taken from her experiences that got her here. Now it's like a transition to, okay, so I'm Nicki Minaj. Who do I become? And then it's like, well, who do people want to see me as? Do they see me as the mom, that's dressed a little bit more discreetly? Or am I still like the fun vibe, party girl image? Which one? And you know what the funny thing about this is Nikki is pretty much challenged to really be who she is. Like, well, this is like her, seeing, being that mother. She's the mother, she has her son with her, and she's creating these moments with her son. It is not for us to judge, but at the same time, she might be still a little bit of edgy with the way that she dressed, but she shows up though with maturity, with showing wisdom, and showing that her experiences allotted her the ability to gain wisdom. You see, and that's something that she can portray. Like, she may not be running around immaturely. So this is, it's a lot of, Sagittarius, you reflecting on that the rebelliousness, the fun, the younger you, however you want to put it, versus how do you see yourself now? What, and Saturn's helping you do this or wanting you to do this. It's like, it's so like scandalous in a way, because it's like, okay, so do you want to, understanding that you're living this life, you don't live this life again in the way that you are, in the circumstances that you have, and it's like, do you really want to just place yourself under the guise of Neptune with, religion and philosophy and beliefs and nothingness because of where you found yourself at in life because of different reasons. It could be what you wanted, but maybe it's not playing out like that. I'm not completely sure what that is for each of you. Or do you say, man, like, I want to come and I want to be myself and I want to express that and I want to pave the way for myself, and yes, take bits and pieces off of what I've learned from others, but changing it as I need to. It's extraordinary. Or I don't want to look up one day and say, wow, look at everything like I've restricted myself from. That's the balance that Saturn, Neptune is trying to bring in for you. I want you to know that is about, doesn't it seem like a hard balance to juggle? But Sagittarius is the sign that could pull it off. And others can see it. So some of you guys, now I'm going to go ahead and say this too, and I get it sensitive and I'm not trying to trigger people, but a lot of times Sagittarius energy can show troubled childbirths or limited childbirths or not having kids. You can see this, and then I'm not saying that that's every Sagittarius. I'm saying that it can demonstrate this. Your energy can demonstrate this. Okay? Because you're sent here to have different experiences versus the collective. Now, this is not all. Don't take this as all. Okay, I only usher that in to usher in the fact that Saturn is transiting your 5th house of children. So right now you could definitely get pregnant, have a child, or go through a process of that, adoptions, in other ways to give birth to someone caring for you, etc., etc. I don't want to get too stuck in that. I'm just trying to cover different variations for you. And there could be that this could develop over this transit. Also, there could be issues surrounding childbirth for you. So it's saying, like, don't limit yourself. If there's something that you want to proceed upon, you gotta look into the information, and it might be a process for some of y'all. Okay. And it doesn't have to be a lot of y'all. So I wanted to put that out there. Okay. So maybe for you guys, like with these leisure activities, fun and pleasure, you could feel like stifled in this area or blocks in this area. Even with dating, you could be wanting to date to have fun, or people that you dating with wanting to date and have fun, but one or the other is being more serious. A lot of times it might be you, Sag, because Saturn is like honing down on your 5th house. So this is saying to you that you can't date and have fun, but you have to date with intention, because the other stuff may not satisfy you. The worst thing, nobody wants to really get stuck with being pregnant with somebody's child that you don't want to be with, or getting somebody pregnant that you don't want to be with. Okay. So intentional dating, I say, should work for you. Okay. You might want to just get out there and have fun and have leisure time, but there's other responsibilities that's calling for you to conquer, for you to complete, for you to master, whatever the case may be, that interferes with you just being able to have leisure and fun time. But whether you do these things or you don't, the problem is this: whether you take these matters serious or you don't, has like long-term effects. So it's like you gotta, you have to pick and choose. Like some things, some of your fun time or leisure time, you might have to sacrifice, okay, just to carry out responsibilities. And this is not the 6th house. However, the opposite of leisure and fun is what? Work. Taking risk. It's not a good time to take just the biggest risk. It's not a good time, like I said, because what plays out is long term for you. So calculate it. I'm not saying don't take any risk. You're a freaking Sagittarius, for God's sake. I can't take that away from you. But I feel like maybe more so calculated risk if you're going to do that. And it depends on, because I know there could be something that, maybe you're not ready for, but you know that, and maybe other people don't know, or they don't understand why. But there's this energy that's like pushing you to be ready. Like, okay, you see, but the risk for you is missing out on something productive for yourself because you took a risk. Or some of you guys, you might feel like you have to take a risk. You see what I'm saying? In order to come outside of something. Like you might be like, okay, and trust me, it's still calculated because it's something you've thought about all along. It's not something just that's out the blue. The point is that it's calculated. It's strategic. Just out here gambling, because that's another thing of that's going on here. Gambling. I'm not saying don't do it, but have some strategy behind it. So yeah, a hobby that you might start doing could prove to be lucrative too, for you, especially at some point. You could feel blocked when it comes to your self-expression, when it comes to your uniqueness for some reason. I don't know. Like I said, I explained the whole story of why that would be, because maybe people that you're around or you're involved with is like, okay, yeah, you can't dress like that here, or you can't be like that here, or that's not one here. And I get it. I get it. However, I feel like the challenge for you is not to completely give in to what these people are saying, but do it in a way to where it's not like you're just like frivolously out here presenting, you know what I mean? Just living frivolously and just being irresponsible and just doing whatever. This makes or break it. It's not about you being what other people want you to be. It's just more about strategic. Sabotage is what I think of, because it's like, are you doing what you're doing? What do you want out of it? And are some of what you're doing and how you're behaving, is that preventing you from having these developments? Because at this point, then you're fighting against yourself, not really other people. But just keep this in mind. Like the fifth house, you have to be very strategic with it. For example, you want to get, what do you want to get? You graduate with your master's degree or something. I don't know. Or doctorates. Or just bachelor's. It doesn't matter. Or some sort of licensing or certificate. You're about to do that. But yet you keep getting invited to all these parties, or you just feel like being lazy, or you just are pushing off, getting ahead of studying and stuff like that. But then you find out some news that was like, that you're like, oh my gosh, I should have been studying all along. You see, I should have been. So it interferes, whatever these risks are that you're taking, or whatever this is that you're doing, it interferes with your progression. And if people feel like they cannot take you serious, like if people are like, okay, well, you're being kind of frivolous and you're not really doing what you need to do, then they may not want to vouch for you. They may not want to vouch for you. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right. So, and mind you, I'm not trying to come deliver harsh news, but Saturn transits are not easy. You have to find a way, because Neptune is still here. You have to find a way to follow your heart, to be you, but from a higher order. Let's just say you're a Sagittarius, you're like, I just don't want to be married anymore, or I know I can't commit to this one person. Then don't commit to them. Be honest and be like, hey, you know what? I can't commit to you. I'm not good with being with one person. Because the ramifications of this is this: you could be dealing with a person that could completely ruin you. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. But you can establish great love. You can still have romance. You can still have all of that. But you cannot neglect personal responsibility of that as well. And you will not be allowing others to neglect you in those manners as well. All right. So have fun. Enjoy your relationships. Intentionally date. Be creative. But it has to be structured. Okay. Enjoy life. But from a balance. All right. So thank you, Sagittarius, for joining me and watching my video. Please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned because I will be back. Okay. Hi, Scorpio. Okay. So yes, you have the the planets. I want to say signs, but clearly you have the planets, Saturn and Neptune transiting your 6th house. Ooh. Yep. So you gotta be, you gotta be particularly, or there's a focus that's being brought to you privy by way of Saturn that is surrounding your work, point blank period. Your work, your profession, job satisfaction. Now, this is the thing, because you could be feeling like you want to go extra hard or, show your best, put your best foot forward when it comes to like the work that you do at a job, but at the same time you could be completely it could feel like your job or your work is getting in the way of like your personal life or something like that. I would say anything that you do to where, like, if you need a break, you being communicative, like making it known to your job, to your work. Okay, so I have this coming up. I need this time off. And then you have to stick to that. Okay. Why? Because here with Saturn transiting your 6th house, this is where you can lose job, lose employment, finances, if you're not taking them serious. But you can have serious gains in this area too. Because see, for me, I tend to kind of, how everything plays out for me, when I'm doing charts, personal charts, signs, is sometimes even the sign itself and like certain placements you have. Like you're not really that sign that I have to have that pep talk with, So you could definitely see, gain like more time at work or want more time at work or being focused on things that you need to work on, and you're not it could be tired. It could be like, okay, it's like nonstop, I'm working all the time or whatever. But or for some of you guys, it could just be heavy focus on things that you're working on, things you're working on, and then progressing from that place, daily routines. So it could be like a routine that you follow or need to follow if there is something that you're trying to accomplish. Okay? You have to handle those responsibilities. And if there is something that if work becomes too much or things that you're working on become too much, you have to understand that the goal is to keep yourself from not being stressed. So proper stress management would do you some good at this time during this transit and of your overall well-being. And I told this to the sign of Aquarius. I was like, listen, stress could be a very big thing for you at this point in time. And stress has significant ramifications on the body. Significant ramifications. So you got to keep that in mind. So this is a time too where your physical and mental health can be tested. Okay. Cause you could be feeling tired, or you could be feeling burnt out, or you could be feeling that physically you're not up to par. And this could be, this could be pertaining to work, but this can also be pertaining to, let's say let's say that you want you're trying to change your physical, like your physique or something, but you have to, like, whether you're losing weight, whether you're becoming a bodybuilder, it doesn't really matter. You have to put time and have in structure and planning and time and effort and routine and like into developing this, into losing the weight, getting the results that you want. You might want to stay up on your personal hygiene at this time. I'm not saying that you have hygiene issues or problems. I'm saying that, and if you did, it could be because of another medical reason that you will find out about, or you need to go find out about. But this is mostly like, during this time, you're going to be like making sure that your physical aspects are good and healthy and in place. Like I said, increase on wanting these things done. Keeping up with appointments. I honestly feel with Neptune here too, like there is something that you guys can heal from, like some type of illness or anything, mental, it's something dealing around mental health, even working with people in this profession. Trust me, this is over the next 2.5 years. And since you're the sign of Scorpio, you can start doing work in the field of health, in exercise, in optometry. Is that with dentists? Like the dentist type thing? Like working on teeth, the health field. But whatever it is that you're working on, this could be, wow, like so huge for you guys. The development. I can honestly say this for you, like, first of all, you do good with work. You do good with routine work. You do like with stuff that you already know what you're supposed to be doing. Like, you know what it takes to become this thing, do this job, do this work. You can be like, you can literally transform yourself into a whole completely different person. You can have healing opportunities that, and have opportunities come out of nowhere that you didn't see coming, that others didn't see coming. Okay, this must be like right on time for y'all. And they don't know you've been working on this behind the scenes. Like, they don't know the time and effort you put in, but yeah, you're definitely going to have to work at it. Okay. And you can go towards a direction to where it is assisting others with helping and healing and with their mental health. With yours and theirs is vice versa. Strong development when it comes to this area. In that transitions your everyday life into something else with more money, with more finances. Okay. I'm actually happy for this transit for y'all. It seems like blocks for you is you see as determination. This is good. This is good for you. Okay. I'm not mad. Okay. All right. So, there's not much pep talk and lectures that I have to even give y'all. Wow. Okay. This is nice. All right. So, thank you, Scorpios. This transit is for the next 2.5 years. Like I said, into 2028. April 2028. All right. And y'all gonna do great with this. Like, wow. If you will allow yourself to, this is good for like the young Scorpios, I feel like, as well. All right. Okay. Yeah. Because like you're trying to find your way, new professions, all that. This is great. This is like life changing. Okay. So thank you, Scorpios. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel because I will be back. Thank you. Ooh, Libras. Oh, Libra. How's it going? Oh, my screen wanted to like do this weird thing. Okay, Libra. Now, to start here, let's start here. Okay. Saturn transiting Aries, Saturn and Neptune together in the sign of Aries is directly transiting your 7th house. Woo. Y'all taking these relationships real serious. Or either people that you're with are taking them real serious. So cheating and infidelity and half stepping ain't gonna go here, because you're gonna get caught, or you're gonna end up, I'm telling you, you're gonna end up falling in love with a side chick or side piece or side dude, or vice them falling in love with you, causing trouble in paradise. Okay, they could be being demanding, and you could be like, well, like, I already have a wife, I already got a husband, or I already got a relationship. No, it's just best for these 2.5 years, you to focus on what it is that you have, or you to leave it alone. What do I mean? Okay, so we have committed relationships. Here is where relationships get serious. Like, you could probably already be in a relationship with somebody, or solidifying one, or, getting married, talking about marriage, being proposed to. Long-term relationships, long-term commitments, whatever it is, you have to be intentional about this. See, I wish talking to Scorpio, it would be so much easier with this transit. But when you come to like air signs and just like, it's a whole different thing, because where you will want to be rebellious in these areas, it's like, and the thing about it is, you rule the 7th house. That's the great part. That's why everybody could find Libras like great partners. Like, the way that you handle relationships, it's like, okay, I like this. Like, you have the ability to think about your partners and respect them and give them what they need. And it's not over emotional or nothing of the sort. That's a great thing. But I think oftentimes the sign of Libra can be used because of that as well. All right. But so this transit, you have to be mindful and you have to be careful with who you're solidifying these long-term commitment, who you're making these commitments to, and all of that. Who you're doing business with, all of that, because the seventh house is also the house of like people that can come against you, people that are aware of your moves down. Although you're good with this as well, you're good at becoming aware of the intentions and moves of others, but it can be done vice versa as well, and they can sabotage your business. So you have to be in a position to where you could be up and above board with people that you're dealing with, because like they're gonna have to take you serious. They have to do the same thing, but you have to be able to, if it's something that you want to, like you're saying that you want to commit to, or you did, or you're being involved with it, you're being held to those standards, and you're holding these people that you're involved with to these standards as well. This is business partnerships, close collaborations, could be something. Like you and your partner or lover could go into business together, or you can form new business partnerships with something that you're trying to develop or something that you're working at. And this could be even if you're trying to get something done. Like I know a couple of Libras that is, let's say you're trying to find a job or something. You might come across somebody or network with somebody that can help you, could put you onto the job. Let's say you're trying to finish school. You can come across other people. The motivation could be other people that's already finished, or that you can be in contact with or talk with or be mentored by somebody that already has. So you're like, okay, that keeps you pushing, because it could be hard for you at this point in time. It could be particularly hard. And like, even so, you have got to get, and I know you're not going to want to hear me say this. You gotta make a decision, Libra. You gotta make a decision. There, I said it. You don't really want to put yourself in a position to where you have to completely rely on somebody else to make these decisions for you. It's not the best thing right now, because whoever you're dealing with, who the people you're dealing with, they can be kind of like off in their own mind, off in their own world. They have other issues going on. They may not be able to make the most best profound decisions for you. And then you don't want to look up after this transit being like, dang, what did I do? I could have, because what you find yourself doing at the end of the transit is doing what you were supposed to do at the beginning of this transit anyway. You got into, April 2028. That's what the revolution of the transits are. Because you don't let somebody impose, let somebody get in the way, however the case may be. So, yes, there could be rivalries in the mix, third parties, rivalries, other people hearsay, gossip in the mix, because you have to either rise above this gossip, or it could be true, it could not be true. That's the challenges right there. And I don't know if confidence will play a part or just the reality of the situation. Because if it's third people, let's say there's third parties, your partners cheating, or you just cannot trust them, you have got to be willing to walk away from these people. And I don't care. Listen, I do not care. I want you to hear me and hear me good. Because whether you face this now, and this is not a scare tactic, I'm telling you, like, we're having a conversation like you're my friend. Whether you face this now or later, it's going to come up. And there's no, ill will on that. People face things whenever they want to, guys. I'm just telling you. You got to be willing, because this is what Saturn is about. You have got to be willing to cut off, let go, drop, however you want to put it. Whatever it is that you feel like is in your way, that's impeding on your progress, that's bringing you down, that is not. Sometimes, how often we find out that people that we're in relationships with, that we're supposed to be in love with, our husbands, our wives, our boyfriends, girlfriends, our baby mamas, baby fathers, however you want to put it, baby daddies. Do you know how many times we find out that there are enemies and our biggest competition sometimes? And then we're like, oh my gosh, like, how did I ever put myself in a position to sacrifice anything for this person? Even to the point of sacrificing myself. This is where you have to be. Where you have to be is in the position to say, okay, this is not something that I need to do, or I deserve to have, or I want to do. And the magic is in the fact that you cannot lose somebody or something that does not want to be lost. Remember that. The air signs are masters of detachment. Detachment, the ultimate way to manifest what it is that you want, to get what you want. But Libras would be out of the three air signs. Now, I'm saying that you can't, because y'all could be some detached mofos too. But when it comes to like relationships and partnerships, sometimes it can be hard. You sabotage your own self sometimes. I don't know if this is like this because your neighbor is Scorpio, or you came out of the sign of Scorpio. You have a lot of their tendencies. I don't know what it is, but trust me. Trust me when I tell you. Trust me when I tell you, boo. It's all, what is the most cringe thing, the most constant thing we keep hearing that seems just so like, here we go again. What is the saying that one? It is always goes back to, partnerships and relationships is nothing but reflections of ourselves. And let's go extend it a little bit further. It's about the perception of ourselves too. We learn through other people. And ultimately, what you could be experiencing is, these transits getting you to become aware of things, become aware of yourself, your behaviors, your approaches, your choices and decisions. Ultimately, is reflecting you through these other people, helping you change your mind, helping you change your perspective, helping you change your behaviors, helping you change your reactions. Ultimately, if you're going around and you're making bad decisions, You're going to realize that during the Saturn transit, but it's not bad. It's going to help you moving forward. And it could be like magic too. Because once you made the decision to say, okay, well, no, I don't want to repeat these experiences. I'm going to show up differently. That's when it all makes sense for you. But yes, some of you guys could find yourself getting into a long-term relationship or marriage, or getting out of one at this particular time, or just growth in your relationship or your marriage. But you gotta come up and you gotta present yourself that's how you want, and the partner that you with have got to present themselves as well. And you have to overcome challenges, and you have to see where if you keep getting the same reaction, you have to then question yourself and say, okay, so what do I need to do different? It's not a blame thing, it's not an accusatory thing, it's just science. Okay, Libra, thank you so much for joining me and watching the video. And I hope that you return. So subscribe to the channel so that you can always see when I'm posting a new video. Thank you. Virgo, hi. Hello, Virgo. So with the planets of Saturn and who is this other planet? Neptune transiting your 8th house. Ooh, this should be pretty interesting. This could seem very spiritual for you, like almost spiritual events playing out, destined events playing out, really, where certain things that you could have sensed or you could have known, whether you received this information through dreams or intuition or insight, personal insight, can play out. Guys, this could be things that you feared happening, or things that you kind of foreseen happening. It seems almost like everything you look around, oh my gosh, like, is this has meaning to it? It's like your experiences, your interpersonal experiences, I don't know why I sense like this thing, like this dome or something that you're in, and you're just like, you're like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? What's happening? It's both good, exciting, thrilling, fearful, like what? Emotional. Yes, emotional, Virgo. Virgo does not like to be emotional. And if you are, you don't like displaying it. That's like a weakness to you. So, needless to say, through this transit, it's a forced transformation that's going on. And depending on you, okay, because I don't know, like, if any of you guys ever went through like spiritual awakenings, or that you could pretty much, you want to tell people, but you learn like, oh my God, like I can't, it's, you can, but you can't. You have to get with that tribe, with your right tribe, or with that group that understands it, or with that person that understands it. That's pretty much this. It's, but a forced transformation, and depending on who you are, what it is you're doing, it comes up. You feel emotions, great emotions, and inklings, and deja vu, and all of this at random times, You could literally, what does Virgo rule? Work. You could literally be at work and have these experiences. Why? Because you're shedding yourself. The universe needs you to shed yourself because it's time for you to go to the next level. The eighth house is so many things, like, could some of your secrets be being unburied for some of you guys? Yes. You know who I look at in this particular situation? Let's go to Beyonce. Perfect example, guys. Beyonce, and like certain people that I name, just start watching them, like, especially if you're their sign. Just start not going, stalking them or anything, even though there's some obsessive traits coming up. That's a whole nother thing. But just start watching these people that I name. Okay, Beyonce, Virgo. Now her moon happens to be Scorpio. But the fact that her sun, so she could be like this personally anyways. And then here we go with you, this eighth house of Scorpio, with these transits. But she could be very withheld, give little, like on interviews, conversations, very low. There's people know very little about her personal life and her personal space. And a lot of people, but okay, well, that's great. Yeah, it is. But, I feel like people tend to come at her harder than they would a Cardi B. And now should Beyonce be like Cardi B? Like Cardi B be doing too much to me sometimes, but I'm not even here to judge that. I'm just saying Cardi B a lot of times can be very vocal about her experiences. That's why it's hard to mistreat her and just get away with it. Cause look at Offset. She's telling all the business. She's letting it be known. That's why her even being with Stefan Diggs, whatever his name is, people was like, okay, that's wrong. But at the same time, they're like, okay, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what Offset gets. Because Cardi, even though she's a celebrity, even though people wish that she would keep her personal business to herself, the fact that she can go and be like, okay, I was cheating on you, gonna keep cheating on me, you gonna keep dogging me out, and I can't take much more, and I got these kids, and blah 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 blah, you cheated again, blah 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 blah. That is relatable to other people that's been cheated on. Most people, if not all, they on it. Like, and the fact that she's having normal reactions to it. Okay, yeah, just you did this and get up, and then the fact that she is now with somebody else, it's kind of like that's what you get. Offset, because you was cheating on her first and you was dogging her out, and you was, even though they want to be critical of her, you can't help but to be like, okay, like, hey, Beyonce people is full on attack her when they respect her though, and you respect her work and you respect her craft, but then you be like, well dang, like if something these allegations about you did come up, now do I feel like you have to go and defend every little gossip, allegation, things that people say? No. We're not talking about that. I'm gonna get to that because that's here as well. No, that's not what I'm saying. And am I comparing people like they should be the same? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm giving examples of what I'm speaking about so you can understand where I'm coming from. And with that being said, the biggest thing is this. Whatever she could, like, with a lot of stuff that's going on in the industry, like being exposed and different things, yes, it's important for a person to be stronger within themselves and confident within themselves and not chase down every little lie that somebody's telling about them. But at the same time, it's another thing for when things come around, you want the people there that can stand up and be like, okay, you know what though? I know that she doesn't do A, B, or C because I know her. That's my friend. Or I work with her. That's my boss. That's my employer. That's my business partner. That's my relative. Whatever the case may be. This is where you're finding yourself because you're just like, oh my God. And I'm like, even I can imagine with Beyonce, it's like, dang, my my ability to parent has been attacked, or it's like being questioned, rumors around. It's like, instead of hiding those things, remember she's Scorpio moon, 8th house. What about just be vocal about it? What about, and not in every occasion, but just sharing it. If her kids, the twins, does have some sort of disability in any way, shape, or form, that doesn't. I work with students with disabilities, behavior wise and all that. And the thing about it is this: that doesn't stop them. Like, some of them go off and they're able to live lives like to the best of their ability. So it's not stopping them. If anything, her experiences with these kids shows, okay, yeah, your perfection is no, there's not anything what says you're not perfect still. You're mothering them, aren't you? They're with you, aren't they? It challenges your idea of perfection. What perfection really is and look like, and what you don't have to be at this point in time in order to get to know. Do you not understand like how many other people she could relate to that has children with any like form of disabilities, or that might have behavior problems, or just might not be that perfect aligned representation of their parents, because this is the reality. I don't want to get too caught off with talking about Beyonce, but this is one of the things like that I'm mentioning her for, because it feels like things are starting to unravel, even though you're not gonna let yourself go, Virgo. Nobody is going to, it doesn't matter how it looks. But don't worry, because with this transit, there are unconscious patterns that may come up for you, like things that you're behaving or you're doing that you're not aware that you're doing, that you like psychologically break ground with. And it's emotional. Yeah. I can't lie about that. But it puts you closer with people, more intimate, because you might look around and be like, dang, like, I don't really know these people. Like, I don't really have friends like that. Or I don't really have people I can go to like that. Like, these people are my workers. Just think about Beyonce. These people are my workers, my co-workers. I employ them. They watch my kids. Even with my spouse, like, but does, like, this is what I can do for you, but are we really close like that? Are we like, you want more at this point, or somebody that you're with wants more, the people around you, whatever you want to call it. But this shedding and these takeaways and these transformations that you're doing for yourself is ultimately lucrative for you. You don't see that yet. Some of you may not. Secret and hidden matters come into the light to you personally first, but also could possibly be to others. I like to think of the 8th house that is coming to you first. And with Saturn and Aries, in Neptune and Aries, it's something that you can't really avoid anymore. It could be around health. It could be around, it could be to the point of where maybe even Beyonce has disconnected herself from some experiences she had as a child that affected her. You see, but the experiences that she's having now, and like that may be coming up around her children, or just like where she's finding herself at, especially with this transit coming up, it could be something that triggers her to not be able to avoid it. Neptune, and it's dealing with the self. Saturn, self motivations. It's like, why am I even doing this in the first place? What am I fearing about people knowing this, about what I find out, about seeming like I'm losing at something? Because you're not really losing. everything goes with it with through transformation. And then as a matter of fact, if you're dealing with something business wise, there could be struggles in that and adjustments that need to be made. Maybe it needs to be let go of, or maybe it's going to like revive itself over time. That is 8th house energy. Let's think about Scorpio energy. Let's think about Pluto energy. Anyone with heavy like Plutonian energy can see themselves in a very low place and then bam, come back. It could be successful, fail, and come back like nothing. Like, ooh. Share resources, because you can put together something, or somebody could need your investment in something, vice versa, that expands, it seems like a gamble or something, but it expands your money or finances. This could be, what does those people do? What is that called? Trading and just gambling and stuff like that. However, with blocks there, some of y'all could lose money. So you want to just not stop yourself completely. But if you do have any type of addictions, Saturn's here to stop it. I'm not going to lie. Sexual addictions, emotional blockages. Share resources, because you could find like a partner of yours, a marriage partner or yours, or just like business partners, however business is misappropriating funds, or they feel like you are. Power struggles and control issues. You're not going to be able to control your husband or your wife, wanting to, because you could feel like, oh my gosh, like they're leaving me, or they're expanding, or they're going through whatever their financial business is, because you're linked to them. It could be something that affects you for good or not. I could go on and on and on. But guys, there is a renewal from this transformation. And for you guys that is really seriously into business and things of that nature, and you can see like a uptick, a uprise in that. All of this is here to have you just you don't even got to do anything. You don't got to control it. These transits, baby, they got a lot of power. Yeah. Okay, so Virgo, that is the Saturn and Neptune transiting Aries forecast for you. And you know what? I'm going to check in along the way. Like if I see other significant transits happening that can be of some sort of like importance, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do updates. Okay. But until then, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will be back. Okay. So hello, Leo. So, we're back with this transit, the Saturn conjunct Neptune. Well, I'm sorry. We're back with Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Aries and what it represents for you. Like if you watch the intro, then I went over the whole shebang about what that looks like what it means, like what is going on. So for you guys, this action, baby, is going on in your 9th house. Leo, I'm sorry to tell you this, but this is in the area of long distance travel. And so it could be blocks for you associated with traveling. Now, you could be pretty busy, or this may not affect your coming and going in immediate environments, but it could seem like if you decide to extend yourself beyond your immediate environment and head into like long trips for extended amount of time, there could be blocks to this. As a matter of fact, it could be hard for you to especially pick up and go at the last minute. It would take, or you should approach traveling with planned or strategic or intentional plans around traveling. Getting there, it could be little things like hangups around like, okay, well, did you plan where to stay? Did you have a little extra money stashed just in case something goes wrong for a rainy day? Whatever. That's all there. And let me tell you what could be interfering with this travel for you. It could be like things that you have to complete, educations, deadlines, something that you affiliated with causing you to have a little bit of trouble or blocks in these areas. It's not really major, but it could just be frustrating and annoying. I will say also that long distance travel could be a focus for you. So maybe your thing is you want to do something like extremely different. You want to travel somewhere exotic or just somewhere you haven't been. It would probably cost you money to plan this trip, to put it together. Okay. And that could take time. However, some of you, now don't get me wrong, because some of you could be focused on this, like you want to extend or expand yourself in some type of way. So maybe you're thinking about relocating and you're planning for that, to where you're looking into, you're researching, you're gathering information, right? Looking at the cost of living, etc., in order to make these moves, in order to make this move. You're doing comparisons. You don't, if this is something that you want to do. And some of you guys, you could be moving or relocating in a different area and somewhere further from where you are usually, or different in culture or some type of way than what you are used to dealing with or used to interacting with. So because of this, or this could be a focus of yours, wanting to do this, make this relocation, or, get involved in different culture, or this transit could be causing you to do that or to do this. Okay. Just focus there. I will say higher education. So some of you guys are returning back to school, back to college, taking courses. If it's something that you want to do, it's better to go ahead and get started now. Yes, it could be annoying as crap trying to get homework finished, trying to meet the demands of classroom criteria, homework, scheduling, projects. It could be difficulties along that road. However, that's just a part of it. What I'm trying to say, Leos, is don't let these issues or challenges stop you altogether. Okay. There could be delays for whatever reason, one reason or another, but I just kind of feel like this. Go ahead and get started, and you will be surprised at what it is that for your outcome. As some of you guys might start having spiritual experiences, or gain some type of interest in some sort of spiritual pursuit, something that is, or in religious, like something spiritual, religious nature. Also, maybe learning about this, like being enrolled inside of some sort of spiritual institute, maybe possibly, or like organization, schooling, something to do with religion, groups, or religious groups, or information. And you could be learning about this. There could be information that that you're teaching others as well, because some of you guys, you can go into like the field of teaching. I also want to say, like, with this Neptune and Aries transit, there's abundant amount of spiritual experiences that you can start receiving through dreams, through visions, etc. That's really eye-opening for you. I feel like maybe it's something that you're not able to, or you feel or believe that you're not able to explain or express to other people, but that is not true, baby. That is not true. So now, that's why you got to be careful of any hallucinants, like for some of you guys that partake in, extracurricular activities, such as, drugs, things of that nature. This could be, it could be drinking drugs. It can really throw you off. Okay. Instead of spending time completing assignments and work tasks, you could wake up with hangovers or not really feeling up to it. Also, it can add on to hallucinants because you already have Neptune here, and it's all about spiritual experiences. It's all about the paranormal activity. All right. Now, you can also around about this time be broadening and expanding on your perspectives around information that around your mindset, thought process, what you've learned up until now, your experiences, right? Because you're ready to have another set of experiences. Maybe it's something that this is conscious for you. It could be unconscious for you, but you just know that you're ready to have these different experiences. If not, the universe is saying, okay, well, you are. This is what we want you to do and be focused on right about now. Okay. Now, I'm not going to lie. It may be something that you're not willingly ready to open up to and understand. And it could be surrounding different cultures. It could be, that's, neither here nor there. But in order to make the necessary changes that you need, it may cause for you to expand in this area. Okay. But definitely interacting with others, teaching others. I don't know. This is a good time to meet someone of a different culture or meet others of different cultures, make connections. I see some of you guys too, possibly getting involved in age gap relationships as well. And I'm telling you, if you do, it will definitely present a whole new or open up a whole new world of experiences for yourself and whoever you're dealing with. All right. And now is the time to expand on your experiences. People could be looking at you as experienced in what you're talking about, causing for you to come speak and help others and, become the teacher of them, like I've already said. So people could be looking at you as like a scholar or somebody who is very adept in the field that you're in or whatever you're operating around. Now, I will also say this just for the record. Some people might say, okay, well, you're inexperienced or you're unexperienced in a certain area. And this is what the higher education is for. Okay. Some of you guys might get and answer the call of broadcasting. Yep. Broadcasting, podcasts, or just expanding your horizon in some form or fashion. This is all here for you. Expansion, growth, spiritual expansion, spiritual awareness, experiencing higher education, learning new experiences. Get ready for a wild spiritual ride. Okay, that's all I have to tell you. I feel like the problem that will present itself is if you're not able to embrace the guidance. It's guidance because Aries is here. If you're not able to embrace the guidance and you want to be or like to be in control of a lot of stuff, you could really interfere or prolong the progression, the relationships, the experiences that you're now at this time being called to have. All right. So thank you so much, Leo, for watching, and please subscribe to my channel because I will be back. Oh, Cancer. So we're here and we have the Saturn, Neptune transit Aries coming up. And for you, this is in your 10th house of career, public image, your ambition, the ambition that you put into your work and the legacy that you leave behind, the work that you do, what you're known for. Okay. Career and your profession. And, the 10th house. The 10th house is the opposite from you. Okay. And as a matter of fact, the 10th house also affects your public image and your reputation. All right. And the efforts that you put forth in order to maintain, solidify, maintain the these things, your reputation and things. Now, so they say you got to be careful who you hang around, honey. They say that. So for you guys, you're going to be getting more notice publicly. What for? That depends. It depends on what Cancer you are, what it is that you're working through. It's going to be pretty hard to hide what that means for you or what that looks like for you. Okay. And some of you guys, you may want to protect your reputation at this point in time. And you want to protect it through what it is that you, or protect what it is that you have built so far. So you're trying to establish that ground foundation, or you have. And so this transit, you're continuing on building with this. Now, there's some sensitivities in this area. And if you feel like what you have been working at and working towards is imposed upon, you could definitely retaliate. Like I said, you don't really want to look like a failure. Now, be careful of this. Be careful of this. I kind of feel like with this transit, there could be blocks, or if not complete blocks, challenges to this reputation that you're building, challenges to something that you're working at, something that you're committed to or you're trying to commit to. There could be, however, it doesn't mean that those challenges are going to stop you. It doesn't mean that. Okay. It could just be, since your the 10th house for you is opposing, or should I say, since Capricorn and Saturnian energy opposes your direct energy, like the way you feel, it could be necessary for you to have your feelings. I'm not saying that you can't do that, but don't allow your feelings and emotions to interfere or sabotage your reputation or what it is that you're working towards. Because that can happen. That can happen, but you're building here. It's a lot. Like, I feel like for many of you, it's a lot of vision that you have, a lot that you know and that you can sense intuitively, a lot that you feel like you are connected to when it comes to how you see yourself, what it is that you want to be, what it is that you want to do. But the conflict of interest comes in when it comes to applying that in the route that you go to have this happen. And all it takes. So essentially, Cancers, it'll be like you're fighting against yourself. Really, that's what this all ever is. That's what this all ever is. But huge developments could come from your career. Like, your focus is here. There's this thing. I feel like for a lot of you guys, there could be people that may be in your family, or that your lover, it could be a romantic lover, your children, even coworkers to some extent, but could not get or really completely understand the level of dedication that you're trying to have for something that you want to develop, or the type of growth and the type of accomplishments that you want to have happen for yourself, and the way that it is. I don't think that you're necessarily trying to do stuff to appease people. No, you really believe in what it is that you want to do. Now, if you do not, because here's the other side of that. This transit may be calling you and asking you the question of, do you believe in what it is that you're trying to do, Cancer? Like, do you believe in this? But there's a lot that you can leave behind. Okay. So with your public image, you're setting some sort of foundation for what it is that you want to leave behind with that as well, And so there could be gossip, and there could be things surrounding you, your name, even if people don't understand what it is that you're doing, because I don't feel like you're trying to explain to them. It's still there. Now, I'm not going to lie, because for many of you guys, it may not be you who's putting your character and your image at question. It could be maybe other people around you, somebody in particular, or people in particular. you know? So you have to really keep that in mind. Like, let's say you have a child, and your child, it's like you could be doing something, like you could be doing a job where you know a lot of people and you're like expected to be an upstanding citizen. As a matter of fact, you could have raised your kids to be the same way. But if they're out here and they're involved in activities and known for activities that they shouldn't be known for, you could feel embarrassed about that, or you could feel like that person, that even if it's your child, is putting your reputation in jeopardy. And that is a problem for you. And I kind of feel like it can emotionally affect you as well. So this is my advice to you. Cancer, you can't worry about those things, and you shouldn't. You can't worry about those people, and you shouldn't. Like, especially like raising our children, it's like once you do that and you raise them the best you know how to, that's the only thing that you can do. You got to go out here making a reputation for yourself. And I get it. You know, as long as you're not putting yourself in the positions that these other people are, then that is all that matters. You withholding yourself back, you feeling like you have to explain things, you feeling like you have to retaliate, it's only giving those other entities power over you. Now you just focus and you deliver and you work at what it is that you want to work at. You better yourself however you feel need, and commit to that. And you will achieve success. So huge developments for you. Like, if you can do this, huge developments for you. And like, this can start depending on like where you're at, like what degree you are, like, you know, and or like how this is playing out for you at what point in time, like according to degrees. Also, this could be something that some of you guys start experiencing now with the developments that you're making in your career, or it will be something that's definitely unfolding over the next 2.5 years. Okay. So just have patience with yourself, see what it is that you want to do, and really just kind of work towards that. If you see that you need some sort of training, education, or like if you could be a content creator, it doesn't matter. You got to put that time in, and you got to be willing to see that foundation set in place, and just continue to work and build. And that's really all you need to do. Everything else is self-explanatory. Everything else writes itself. Okay. So just please just don't get discouraged. All right. All right. Thank you, Cancer. Hello, Gemini. Happy birthday. Even though this can be a video that you watch from now until 2028, if you want to come back to it, because that's how long this transit is. But I am recording a video in Gemini season. Thank you. June 5th to be exact. Okay. I got a couple of Gemini birthdays that's coming up. Mine's already passed, but I'm going to be celebrating this weekend, I guess. Anyways, I want to say Jupiter, but, so Saturn and Neptune will be transiting Aries. It's already started transiting the sign of Aries. And for you, this is playing out in your 11th house, gems. Yes. So what is this? The house of friendships, social groups and organizations, other social entities. So where there's social groups and organizations, like other social entities, it's like social events, who you're socializing with, etc., etc. The 11th house is about your dreams and wishes, like something that you want to happen, regardless of the way it looks, regardless if it looks like it's not happening. It don't matter what it looks like. It is what you want to happen is sitting here in 11th house, collective goals and collaborations. So, you know, you could be working on things that other people are working on, or you can come together for the greater good and to work on something collectively. That energy is definitely amping up. And as a matter of fact, other people can definitely be helpful for you and work in your favor at this opponent. This time, luck, and gains. And you know what, things when it comes to luck, it's iffy because some people believe in luck and some people don't believe in luck. So it's a probability, I guess. It's a chance for luck to fall on your side. I feel like Jupiter is more of luck. But because 11th house is the house of like our wishes and dreams, then it's like you can say, okay, well, if my dream happens or comes true, luck is all up and in through there. And this is definitely a house of financial gains. A lot of people don't talk about this. A lot of people don't know this, but this is one of the mega houses for financial gains. And without a lot of the hard blockages that come with it. Okay. So even though the 10th house is how you do what you do or what it is that you worked on to get to the 11th house. This is where you're at. Because, with Neptune moving into, Aries, with, Saturn moving into Aries, this is falling in your 11th house. The last couple years or so, Saturn was inside of your 10th house. Okay. Really having you focus there. So here we go. Gemini, the big payoff. But remember, some of you guys are in that flex zone, no flex zone, that zone to where you're still trying to come out of, that you're still working on things that you're trying to complete and wrap up. Okay. And some of you guys already done it, whatever. It's like a in between, but you're transitioning into reaping the rewards or reaping the consequences of, that 10th house of the Saturn transiting into from Pisces. So financial gains, definitely in 11th house, because you still 10th house, you have Saturn energy going on because Saturn rules the 10th house, and then 11th house, Saturn is part owner of the 11th house as well, because it rules Aquarius too. So this is the good thing. So success, you have success through social networks. So remember what I talked about, that other people helping you, like who socially, is a very big thing. And this is why you want to protect yourself, protect that and what it is and how you're presenting yourself. It's very big. It's like watching who you're talking to and how you're talking to them. Because you don't never know who it is, you know what I mean? Or you don't never know like who's watching. And for some, yes, to completely take you down or to go against what it is that you're doing. Okay, well, whatever. They can't do it unless you allow them to. Half of the stuff I wouldn't respond to unless you need to, and then you respond and respond and just let it go. It's obsolete. Okay, so here we go, because there could be challenges in these areas too, all the areas that I just named. And I'm going to tell you why, because you may need to assess who you're keeping these friendships with. Like really, because Saturn is having you look like, and Neptune too, because Neptune is like, oh my gosh, like I want to believe that these people are my friends. In my, I should be in this social networking and social circles. I want to believe that because I want to give them chances and I want to forgive these people. But Saturn is coming in and be like, okay, but remember when you was over there struggling? Remember how hard it was, and you won't on your jobs, and you won't on your tasks, and remember how hard it was for you to remove yourself out of these situations, and remember how hard it was for you to get to the place that you are. Are you willing to let that all go? So what does that look like? I'm saying that maybe in some instances where your friendships does matter and you might want that, you have to also balance that out. You have to also say, okay, well, you know what? It may not be like when I hang out with my friends and we entertain each other, whatever, we do that. But it's not going to go before self motivations and what you want, what you're trying to obtain. Now, how? You can ask the question of like, well, how would that end up happening, or how could it? Because Geminis a lot of times will help other people, will invest in other people without knowing it. Like, it'll be like, oh yeah, I'm here. I'll get on the phone and conversate with you for hours when I could be doing something else, whether it's me getting rest, or whether it is me working at something that's important, blase, giving up talking and giving up ideas and helping people for free, just for them to not be of assistance to you, or just for you to completely waste your time. Okay. So Saturn is like, okay, Geminis, don't be in la la land about these people, and don't even give them a benefit of a doubt right now. Like, really, they got to show up meaningful, and still you don't give all of yourself to them. Not right now. It's like a test, because you're reorganizing yourself around new, look like this is a crystal ball, around new surroundings, organizations, networking. And sometimes we can't see that this is what we need to do, or that's it, or why it's happening, until we can't see it, because other things are in our way. We're stressed out. We're bogged down, listening to gossip, listening to this that don't make no sense, worrying about that. It's no. As a Gemini, like, I can think of so many things that's happened where I was like, you know what? Especially recently, I'm like, you know what? If I go over here, hang out with these groups of people, go kick it, go have fun, and to intertwine myself with with what these people over here got going on, with their own little selfish agenda that don't mean nothing for me or nothing to me. If I do that, there have been times where I have turned people down and situations down, because I'm like, nope, you're bringing me stress. This is clearly not what I want. Why would I go against it, knowing why would I go for that and go towards that, knowing that's not what I want? So I'm just like, it's clear. And then I did not go towards it. Just, my mind is clear. I'm not, because I could have went out drinking. I could have went out partying. I could have went out whatever. And it'll be something like, I need to be alert. Where I get that phone call, that important phone call, or I get that inkling with my intuition about something that I need to like pay attention to. I'm like, oh, that's due. This is due. Oh my God. And I was able to get it done on time, because I'm not focusing on that other stuff. So yes, friend groups, social groups, changing your dreams and wishes. That's what you're focused on, and that's what you're working towards. I'm not saying that you're doing this in a completely selfish way, where you just eliminate everybody out of your life. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. But this can be a while. And then we're about to have Uranus transit the sign of Gemini in July for the next, 7 years? I'm sorry. That's going to be wild. That's going to be a wild ride. Like, they're going to be, when this transit is over, because Uranus does good in the sign of Gemini. Like, it does way better than it being in the sign of Taurus. I'll tell you that, because that's where it was. Gemini is more comfortable. It's more free. There's lots of expansion. Like, you're going to be having like futuristic thinking. You're going to be thinking about stuff, doing stuff, completing stuff that is beyond your time. Like, and other exciting things, but it could be causing other stuff too. Like, there's good and bad and all of this stuff, but it's going to be electrifying. It's going to be groundbreaking for scientific developments, all of that. And I just cannot wait to see how much we progress and what we find out over time, So, just keeping that in mind. Yes, and this could put you in situations where you are working with other people, or you like collaborations, and like everybody making money, baby. And I will say this too, there's some restrictions there as well. Like, Saturn could be getting you to see where, these collaborations could take place, and there's nothing wrong with that, but don't gyp yourself out of something either. where you should watch out and the challenges might be those people, those entities may be making money off of you, or it may be like where you feel like, okay, well, I'm selling my soul for something that I can do. Basically, Gemini, you can do a lot of what it is that you're doing already. You can do it on your own. Like, you can already do it. People see that you can do it. This is why they're trying to get you in their different groups in social settings. So it's at your discretion, because it could be beneficial for you. It's at your discretion. Okay. What have you been aspiring for? What do you want to work towards? Voila. Here you go, baby. Here you go, baby. Like, I'm happy for you. Some of you guys are going to be like visionaries, but at the same time, like, give yourself practical ways to work at these developments. Give yourself practical ways to accomplish your goals. All of this humanitarianism is also a very big thing. So you could be called or feel called to create something, make something, work with something that helps the broader a part of humanity. And it could be just like you talking, like, you see how I'm doing? It could be like you talking, or you working at a job, or you discovering something. It's powerful. Like, I'm so happy for this transit, and I just want you guys to understand that it's not going to come without its hard work. So it's going to take a lot of your time. And if you want to maintain successful relationships that actually are there and they're meant for you, then you're going to have to strike a balance. You know, like, your partners are going to have to understand, but you're going to have to be able to be like, okay, so I'm going to work on this, work on that, but spend time with my loved ones, hear my family, talk to them. You know, all of that is incorporated, but it's like, also, do not miss this. Some of you guys, you can meet a lover, like a friendship turns into love. Like, you realize, oh my gosh, like, I'm in love with my friend, or they realize, man, I'm in love with Gemini, my friend. Like, or it was something to where, like, it was back and forth, or there was distance some type of way, or there was, hit and miss, how do you put it? But this person could be in your social circle already, or inside of some social circle or group that you're going to connect with through, or by you being involved with somebody else's social networking thing or social interaction that they have going on. Like, you've been invited somewhere, and then you go and then you meet somebody. It's very, very like, and this is like somebody that you want though, and y'all are like friends. Y'all could be friends and lovers. Like, this is very, so much like, wow, like, man, how did this, it feels fated. It feels like, man, where did you come from? Like, where have you been? This is great. Yeah. So, and some relationships can experience distance within them. It just depends, because it could be to where you and your person is like on two different paths, or you and somebody's like on two different paths, so we have a lot of that going on. But I just want to say, Gemini, happy birthday. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe, because I'll be back and with much more. And just this is a wild ride for Gemini. Like, it's needed, because the sign of Gemini has been going through, is one of the signs that has been going, like, it's every time it feels like you're getting a break, there's something else. There's challenge after challenge after challenge, especially with other people, and now you're finally going to start to see that break. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hey, Taurus. Okay, Taurus. So, Saturn and Neptune transiting Aries is affecting you in your 12th house. Now, automatically, I know, Taurus, you're like, oh my freaking gosh. Like, I don't need this. I know. So, but this kind of gives you a little bit of a break. Because a lot of you guys have been doing so much. You have been working so much. You have been, really, a significant role in what it is that you're developing, helping yourself, helping others. So this is kind of telling you to focus on healing. Okay. Healing and, like working on maybe another not even a hobby, I'm sorry, but I always see skill sets lying in the 12th house. Skill set, baby. skill. So there's something there that maybe you like gave up a long time ago, you stopped doing for whatever reason, but it once upon a time brought you peace. It was something that you really like to do, and this is like you getting that back out, doing it again, polishing up, sharpening your skills. This is that type of energy. But let's just talk about what else is in the 12th house. We have these mystical experiences that could be upon way. Now, this is interesting enough because if you have Taurus and Leo in your chart, this is definitely one big mystical ride. I'm just telling you. So mystical experiences and spiritual enlightenment is what you stand to gain and experience during this transit. It's almost like, the circumstances of your life, okay, is having this unfold for you. Like, that's pretty much it. Isolation and confinement. So needing to, or seeking, or needing to, or possibly having this happen, this brought about like being to yourself a lot, being isolated, being to yourself, spending time alone. Why? Because these spiritual experiences is not for nothing. Especially if you have Virgo in your chart as well, Leo, Virgo. If you haven't watched Virgo's video and you have Virgo in like a rising or something, maybe even moon, you can watch it. Look at what they're experiencing. This could be, and then if you're a Taurus too, like a Taurus sun, Taurus rising, this could be, affect you on a very deep level. So please understand that. And then like through dreams, through spiritual visitations of stuff, through intuition, being sensitive in the areas that you need to, and getting healing. Okay. But that isolation and confinement, I don't know. Some of you could feel like you're being isolated for some reason. That's interesting. That just came up for me because I definitely didn't write it in my notes, but it could feel like you're being isolated and you don't want to. I don't know if this is by like a partner, if this is by people that you're dealing with, if this is by work. I feel like if that does come about for you, it's because you need to spend that time alone. Trust me. And then for others of you, you can be, needing, because it could be like busy with stuff, like typical responsibilities. As a matter of fact, it could be hard to, it's like you're going to have to muster up strength and tenacity and motivation, to complete certain tasks and complete certain things at this point in time, because it's that feeling. Like spiritual awakenings can be very emotional, guys. It can be very isolating. So you could be around others all day long. But if you're having certain spiritual awakenings and you don't really know how to process, you have not processed that appropriate yet, you could be in a crowded room and still feel confined or isolated, because you could be like, okay, I'm in a crowded room that I cannot talk to these people about my experiences that I'm having. What I will say is there's plenty of people that you can find online or in places that have these same experiences and that can help and assist you through them, whether you're listening to their testimony or whether like you're in, contact with them. Okay, so keep that in mind. And believe what it is that you see. You might be like, okay, well, Neptune is there. And Neptune is the planet of illusion. Yeah. But Saturn is there also, helping you make some sense of this. So like grounding yourself. Now, I'm not saying that there's not any falsehoods here. It could be easy for you, especially if you're being particularly sensitive or vulnerable, it could be easy for people to manipulate you or pull the wool over your eyes. But with Saturn there, and you could use it as a form of escapism, Taurus. That is high, like a form of escapism. But Saturn is there being like, wait, Taurus, hold on. But does this make sense? Does that make sense? Like, look at, the signs, like, look at what's going on here. Vivid dreams, like having dreams in a dream state to where it feels real. so real, you can't even tell where I look at it as like dimension hopping. I look at it as like becoming aware of the spiritual world around you and yourself on a soul level. But it's so real to where you feel like if you're awake, it's like, dang, am I awake or am I asleep? But these dreams have meaning. Of course, there'll be some of just be experiences that you're going to try to make a meaning out of. But there's many that you will have that is going to have some sort of meaning of why you're experiencing it. And then your intention is to be, okay, make this dream make sense to me. Give me the reason why this dream happened. And then going about your way, and that reason will come up. Now, are there things in people, possibly entities, enemies working against you? That could be another thing. But it could be unconscious that this is happening. Maybe they don't know that they are, but they could be by way of stuff that they may share, that they may know about you. You see what I'm saying? Or in conflict of interest, like working on something, interfering with appointments and plans and stuff that you have because they have to be somewhere. They have something that they're working on. And you can feel like, okay, you're directly going against what it is that I'm doing. And yes, enemies. So people like your ops. So how do you make it through this transit? Because I kind of feel like Saturn is showing you what this is. You know, at the end of the day, if you just, I'm not saying control things, but understand like, okay, well, really at the end of the day, I'm not really controlling anything but myself. And you're just like, go towards the healing, allow the spiritual awakening, and just have patience with yourself and do what it is that you feel like you need to do on whatever level that is for you. I feel like people, they could come up against you, but that does not mean they're going to win, and they don't have to win. Really, they're showing you a reflection of something. Really, they're showing you of something that you need to realize in order to awaken, in order to heal, in order to step into the next level of yourself. So relaxing, taking time, going on vacation, but kind of like taking time to yourself is not a bad thing, because you're going to find out that is what you needed. Like in order to keep sanity, in order to keep stress down. So even in situations where there would be typical high stress, that feeling of Neptune and the feeling of the 12th house kind of protects you from that, because it tells you like, hey, like, come on, bring it back in. Like, let's not react to this. Let's really just relax and take it easy. On top of the fact, yes, you're going to have work that you need to get done. But if you are navigating this transit properly, you will balance the energies out. Okay? Whew, okay. Thank you, Taurus, for watching. And please subscribe to the channel, because I definitely will be back. And like, I've been touching on 12th house matters, like through synastry chant videos and content speaking about the 12th house that I've been trying to put out on my channel to help people understand the 12th house, because the 12th house really is about the self, but other things sit there like in our subconscious, and other people trigger and wake those things up. Okay. All right. So just thought you know that I do these videos on my channel. Okay. So thank you, Taurus, once again, and I will be back. Aries, last but not least, guys, you see how I chose to do y'all last this time, because I be thinking about that, and I'm like, let's do Pisces first, and then because Saturn and Neptune is transiting the sign of Aries. Woo, your sign. So I know you got y'all like, girl, bye. Okay, but let's talk about what this transit represents for you guys. First of all, your first house, because Aries rising as well, but it's just you, your appearance and self projection, like what you're projecting onto other people. In Aries, you could be, now this is interesting because you could be feeling a certain type of way. You could have had enough of experiencing certain things coming when it comes to like authority and control and patience and time and working through that. And you could be fed up. But this is the thing. Other people around you may or may not know you're fed up. And maybe they do. But people outside of that don't know you, or they might, but they don't have any clue to what's going on with your personal experiences, could feel like you're projecting onto them. I'm just going to tell you, because it's about projection. Now, let's go back. So this is why we have to understand with Saturn transits, it just seems like a war. Like it's like, okay, don't y'all people see like the trouble that I'm having? Don't y'all see that I've come through hard times? Don't y'all see that I'm overworked? Don't y'all see that I'm feeling used? Don't you see I want to be taken serious? Don't you see? And other people are like, okay, great for you. But what I see is that I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing my job. I'm living my life. Blase. So it's just like a war. And then the more you run into like the challenges and need to overcome the challenges and the limitations and all that, it builds and builds and builds. And it's this big rebellious event. But really, all you got to do is just take a step back and see, okay, I'm not liking this. Is this something that I can communicate to others? Do I need to? How can I do that and do that? Or how can I also take a step back and just kind of like allow to see, is this really rejection or limitation, or is this the way I'm feeling because I want something to happen that I want to happen that is not ready to happen yet? Or it's not going to happen until I do it, until I put in the work, until I put in the effort. So appearance. Some of you guys could be, really looking at yourself and seeing you want to make changes. That's something that you might be motivated to work on with this transit. Like some of you guys, you want to look. Like Ariel, you want to have a more feminine, softer look, a more, worryless look, like something to where maybe you want your hair to be longer. Maybe you want it to be another color. Maybe you feel like, you could work on your diet, maybe your health, maybe change your clothing styles, whatever it is. Okay. That could be something that is of interest to you. Like you're like, man, I want to be like, take it serious, or I want to be completely different. All right. Energy, ambition, and action. So the type of energy that you have, and it could be depleted. You could be feeling tired, to put towards your ambitions and like put this energy to action in order to establish or work towards your ambition. Like, what do you find? What motivates you? And there could be challenges around what that is, because it's like you see it, you want it, but it feels like it's hard to grasp. You don't know where to start because like you could be confused about what that looks like. Oh, what do you do? I kind of feel like Aries, at the end of the day, you're going to figure that out, but you got to start somewhere. And it's about the initiative that you put in. Now, so new beginnings is always on the horizon for Saturn transit, like the sign that Saturn's transiting. New beginnings. But, and especially this first house action in the sign of Aries, new beginnings. You want something new, like you're trying to figure out what that is and what that looks like. New beginnings, but you have to, it's kind of like, has any of you guys ever been on a cruise? So on a cruise, on a big ship, there's already a projection. Like there's already a map. the routes have been traveled over and over and over and over again. It's like, it's like a straight shot or just like a slight turn, slight turns here and there until you get the ship going to the direction you want. So you're going to be turning ahead of time, and it's like, you're aware, like you're on this big body of uncontrollable waters, baby. So you're navigating it as such. You see, you're navigating it as such. This is how you're going to access your new beginnings, build them, become that. This is how you're going to do it. You get frustrated. Yes, that's there. But go easy on yourself. Take it easy, dag on it. Because it's there. And then other things, Aries, you're going to have to choose it as well. I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at y'all. Trying to have a little bit of fun, but I know that could be frustrating for people who's experiencing pain. And I'm not trying to make a joke out of somebody else's pain, because I know how Saturn transits can be. Because it's like, dang, how do I start? Or where do I start? And you could be like, oh, well, I'm a certain age. That has nothing to do with it. It really doesn't. The only thing that it will have to do with it is the Neptune energy coming in. Like I said, you want flowing hair like Ariel, but you got a bald spot. Or, because the problem, the Neptune part is like, okay, dreaming, illusions, but you have to have some sort of spiritual advancement too, guys. Don't get me wrong. But the illusion part is the hair flowing like Ariel, but you're bald or something. Can it happen? I mean, your hair could grow. You can add extensions. I don't know. But the root cause. Okay, so why am I having trouble with hair growth? Oh, I'm stressed. What am I doing to cause myself stress? How do I resolve stress? What do I cut out? See how you took the so-called illusion and then you end up getting to the root cause and how to solve and prevent and better that root cause. This is what this is about. This is what this is about. Identity, your identity, who you see yourself as. This matters. This is what you're going to get clear of. This is what you get clear on right now. What is your identity? Who do you see yourself as? Don't worry about the illusions. Like I said, if you say, okay, well, my identity is such and such, whatever your name is, or whatever you see yourself working as, or whatever you see yourself becoming. And I see myself as my hair flowing down my back, mermaid. But when you start to go towards this identity, you might see it as, or it opens up as, oh, I'm going to learn how to swim, or, oh, I'm going to get leaner, or, oh, maybe I'll add extensions, but, oh, gosh, how do I just start with the hair that I do have? Like, how do I fix this? Like I said, this spot, this issue. Oh, it's stress. Why do I want to escape? What is it I'm escaping from? What if I actually just faced it? What if I actually just changed it? I don't have to be this. I don't have to be that. See how that works? That's what you are. This is the sum up of this transit. I just want you to know. All right. So Aries, until the next time, thank you for watching, and please subscribe because I'll be back.